Welcome, patrons! Have you ever started up a new game of Dragon Age Origins and wondered why your pockets are so full of random gear? Those are old promotional items, and when the game was new, you actually had to do things to get those in your game. After some time, they have set the game to just give it to you for free, which is why you likely have them now. While many of them had to do with signing up for the BioWare social network forums or pre-ordering from somewhere, there are 3 items that were given to you by completing a now-forgotten Flash game. In my quest to present to you every piece of media that has Dragon Age slapped onto it, today I present to you Dragon Age Journeys. About the game. To start, the game released in, the wiki says November 3rd, 2009, but various news articles I've come across date it as coming out in late October 2009. I'm not sure if these articles got a review access to it or what, but as the game had been updated a few times, I wonder if the final update happened on November 3rd, and that's why the wiki says that, but either way, both dates make this as coming out at the same time as Dragon Age Origins or just a few days before. Anyway, the game isn't actually made by BioWare, but by EA2D, and from what I have read, this is their first game as well. It's an audio jump in quality because I'm editing and I just wanted to add this in real quick. The original audio for this had me saying that I couldn't find anything about EA2D. Well, that has been a lie now because I found a couple more things. EA2D eventually became BioWare San Francisco in 2011 after Dragon Age Legends came out, and they had a couple other games that they made, including Mirror's Edge 2D, but eventually it would shut down in 2013, and that was the end of this studio. Now, the game itself is actually pretty good. I was sort of dreading having to play this as I've never really done so, and because I haven't really played any good Flash games other than like Bejeweled, but whatever. The game is like a mini Dragon Age Origins. They use the same UI assets, perhaps just slightly altered. They use the same music, the same abilities, and it's just a simple tactics-based game. You even get to make your own character and change equipment. It's actually really cute. I enjoyed it. The story. The game is split up into 3 chapters, which I'll get to more on that in a bit. As for when this all takes place, it doesn't actually set a hard date, but we can kind of estimate where it is. If you play a human noble, it says that your father is in King Merrick's court. So we know that for the most part, King Merrick is currently king, and Ferelden has his independence, but obviously he has not died yet, and it is before the 5th Blight. So that would aim it around 902 Dragon or 925 Dragon. Chapter 1. The Deep Roads. The game opens up slightly differently depending on what character you make. It has the same origin options as Dragon Age Origin, and each origin has a slightly different opening and reason why you are in the deep. Mages are brought down by their mentor of many years down into the deep roads for your final training. I have no idea what that training is or how the Chantry allowed this, but let's just move on. Humans are the children of a lesser noble in Ferelden. Your father has been sent down on a diplomatic task to Orzammar, but on the way there made some shady deals to make a bit more coin and must meet his contact outside the Dwarven city. Dalish elves were sent down by their keeper, who fears that a darkspawn threat might be growing. You and your brother join a dwarven group out into the deep roads, and your clan hopes that your presence is a token of goodwill with the dwarves. City elves are servants to a cruel merchant who has traveled to the deep for business. You and your sister are there with the hired hand to help close the deal, which, oddly enough, the cruel merchant is an elven man, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but I guess in Ferelden it's a little bit more accepted, so it's not like super unheard of, it's just mostly unheard of, but anyway. Dwarven commoners are of the merchant caste, and your wish was to always be a soldier. To follow your dreams, you have gone against caste to join a group of dwarves going into deep roads. And for Dwarven nobles, you have fallen from grace thanks to a foolish uncle. In hopes to regain your social standing, you and your 2 brothers are traveling the deep roads in search for glory. Regardless of what you choose, your whole party gets murdered by a group of darkspawn and one talking, blue-glowing emissary. Each origin has a person that is significant to you, and they will tell you to run. You manage to escape and head over to Orzammar. You awaken to Andrin, a Dwarven military commander who tells you that you are the only survivor and that your wounds have been treated. You tell Andrin about the strange glowing darkspawn, and he tells you to talk to Martine, a Grey Warden who is currently fighting darkspawn in the deep roads. At the moment, she is in the deep roads with more of Andrin's men, and so you must find her. He tells you to speak with a man named Ardum. Walking around the city, there are a few shops, a tavern to rest at, and Ardum, a spirit healer who says that he was the one to heal you and save your life. He will be your first companion, and off you go into the deep roads. Working your way through the roads, the 2 of you find Martine. Andrin's men didn't make it, but Martine has survived. You tell her of the blue glowing emissary, and she remarks that she might have an idea of what it could be, and it's not good. She then says that she must talk to the King of Orzammar, hoping that Andrin can get her an audience. Martine then joins your party as the third companion. After making your way back to Dwarven City, Andrin is glad to see the Grey Warden, but is unable to get an audience with the king, as he is busy with preparations trying to retake Baunamar. Martine says that this is a full mission, and Andrin agrees, but he is still unable to bring them to the king and must find another way in. A nearby soldier named Pilgar overhears your plight and mentions that he could help get an audience with the king by ways of a friend with a powerful family, but he needs you to get his armor back from the Carta, who stole it from him while he was sleeping. You do. When you bring it back, he tells you to talk to Belmar near the tavern, as he is from a major warrior caste house. When you speak to Belmar, he is absolutely wasted and drunk in disgrace, complaining that his family won't respect him until he has risen in ranks. But his captain refuses unless he collects the hearts of a few genlocks to prove himself. As he is drunk and unable to, you make a deal and bring him the hearts he needs. At this point, a human bard named Ryanth will be able to speak to you. Before, he would say that he has no time for you, but after overhearing that you wish to speak to Dwarven nobles, he has taken an interest. He's a down-on-his-luck bard, the kind that's supposed to not be a spy, and he wishes to join you for inspiration for his songs. At this point, he can join your party, but you can only have 3 people at a time. You can exchange him for either Martine or Ardum, but as Martine is important to the story, even if she isn't in the party, she will speak like she is there with you. For full disclosure, I didn't use Ryanth at all in my game, so I had to start a new game to unlock him and use him just for a bit to see what it's like, but I didn't complete the game with him, so I don't believe he has any major parts in this game, but I could be wrong and might have missed something, but I really don't think I did. After bringing back the Genlock hearts, Belmar tells you to talk to his captain Gareth. You do, and when you ask him to take you to the king, he states that he has no weight with the nobles, but if you talk to a major Carta leader named Saria, she might be able to send you to the king. As Gareth has large debts to Saria, he says that you might be able to win her over by asking to pay his debts, which, oh, how convenient. You also get your debts paid for free. Thanks, that's really helpful. Anyway, you talk to Saria, because it's a whole runaround, but whatever, who sends you on a task to check on some of her men, who went in search for diamonds and have not returned. You go and find the camp empty. Martine, who will say this no matter if she's in the party or not, laments that if Farron saw her helping the Carta, she would be ashamed. You ask who Farron is, and Martine explains that she was a Grey Warden mage, and that both of them came down to Orzammar for Martine's calling. Later on, it will be strongly hinted that Farron and Martine were lovers. Farron cut the conversation short, and then you head back to Saria and Dusttown. Saria finds it strange that the camp was completely deserted and sends you off into the diamond mines to search for more of her men. In the mines, you find her men dead, and Martine mentions that something is wrong. She senses an unusually high amount of darkspawn activity and asks to investigate, and then you come across the glowing emissary that you saw in the opening. The emissary complains that you killed his honor guard, mentions that he needs to attend to his machines, and a battle begins. At the end, he disappears, complaining that he is too weak from powering the machines, and before you can kill him, he just poofs. Martine then is shocked. She knows the runes. When you ask, she mentions that she hears a rumbling sound, and you are then led throughout the mine, shutting down 3 different machines that are protected by an ogre and a few other darkspawn. After shutting down all the machines, the rumbling stops. Martine goes to explain the runes. Before the 2 of them have come to Orzammar, Farron acquired a powerful artifact called Duris's Blue Flame, known to increase the intelligence of anyone who wears it. A side effect of wearing it would cause the person to glow blue. After Farron began to use it, her thirst for knowledge became unquenchable. Farron would later run off into the deep without Martine, as she felt her end coming and didn't want Martine to see. And it seems the emissary killed her and has taken the artifact. You wonder what the emissary could be doing, and Martine says it's likely that they are searching for an old god to start a blight. Martine swears to stop this emissary and make sure that Farron's death will not bring the end of Thetis. And then the chapter ends there. Chapter 2. The Darkness Within. And that's it. Chapter 2 and 3 were announced, with a few teaser images even being shown with dragons and arenas and all sorts of stuff, but they were never released. I'm not sure what happened here. Honestly, EA 2D would go on to make another DA Flash game just a few years later after this, so I don't know why this one was abandoned. There were some articles and posts about how the other 2 chapters would include premium content and that could be bought by the player, but it's unsure what that would have looked like, and I don't know if that was its downfall. It just kind of stops. There wasn't really a big to-do. It just ended, and no one really talked about it after that. Discussion. If you're wondering about the companions or if anything carries over from this game to literally anything else, the answer is pretty much a big fat nope. Almost everything seen here is just in this game alone. Except, and perhaps you seem familiar with the name, Durus's Blue Flame. You might recognize an item with a similar name in Dragon Age 2, which is also another promotional item that you now just have when you start a new game. Except it is now renamed Dura's Blue Flame. When it was new, you actually received it from playing Dragon Age Legends, the other DA Flash game by EA 2D. It was an item you got for free on March 25th, which is said to be Ryanth's birthday. Yes, the birthday of the bard from this game. It also happened to be around the same time as the game's Facebook page was getting 100,000 fans, so it might actually have more to do with that, and they just slapped on it was Ryanth's birthday, and also Thetis doesn't use our calendar, so I don't know what that means. But anyway, as I have not played Dragon Age Legends, I'm not sure if Ryanth appears in that game as well, but it seems that whatever happened to EA 2D, they never forgot their unfinished work. If anything, I wonder if this is maybe a hint of what happened, and that Ryanth was somehow able to get the amulet from the emissary and he just sold it topside and that's how Hawk got a hold of it. I don't really know. As the game took about a year to develop, or so I read in some of the development blogs, it also uses some older versions of icons we know and love. For example, all the archery symbols are red instead of yellow. Song of Valor has a different icon. There are probably others as well, but those are at least the ones that I noticed. The game also has stamina potions, which wasn't included in the base game but did come back in Awakening. Now, I mentioned earlier that playing the game got you 3 items for Dragon Age Origins. Amulet of the War Mage was given if you have played the game with your EA account. Embree's Many Pockets was given after finding Martine. And Helm of the Deep was given after earning all 5 achievements in the game. The achievements aren't actually that hard to get. 2 are related just to completing the game. 1 is given if you recruit Ryanth, 1 is given if you kill 2 monsters with 1 attack, and the last one is given if you kill an ogre while at full health. The last one is the only one I actually didn't get in one playthrough, but it also didn't seem like too hard of an objective if you just play your cards right. Now, the reception of the game did seem positive. The articles I came across said that it was a nice little game, and the comments I saw were pretty good about it. But I also didn't see that much chatter about it either. It seems that even at the time, people just sort of forgot about it. Now, for the moment, you can actually still play the game online. I wasn't able to get it to work on the main site for some reason, but I did find a link on the DA Wiki that has a playable version of it. To play it completely, it took me about an hour and a half, so it's pretty short, but honestly, I did enjoy it. But if you do have an interest in playing, I would do it sooner rather than later. It's made in Adobe Flash, and Flash is a dying tool. Like, I've had my computer for quite a while now, and I had to download Flash just for this. It used to be a staple of the internet, and I didn't even know I lacked it. I haven't needed it until now. And for that, Adobe is also going to be giving up support for it in 2020, so new browsers will soon no longer support Flash at all. You could always use old browsers that Flash is working on, but that could get complicated for those of you who don't know how to work computers very well, but that's a whole other story. And that doesn't even take into account that the site that is currently hosted on, that's the only playable version I could actually find, will still have it working in the future. So I guess play it sooner rather than later if this is something that really interests you. And if you are in a time where the game can no longer be found or played, I guess I hope this video was helpful on figuring out what this lost gem was. And if you find yourself playing it today, which I have linked in the description of the version I played, comment below what you think about it, or if you found something that I missed. Let's at least just have one nice little area that people can go to that has a little bit more about the game than the wiki does. And that, dear patrons, is all that we know of Dragon Age Journeys. Or at least all that I could find, but whatever. Detailed lingering questions, proof that I'm wrong, comments about your own fan theory. Feel free to tweet me at @Gilderthon on Twitter or send a PM to Zilgillanon on Reddit. Terrestrial. I'm not redoing that take. You just have to live with the dog barks, but goodbye.